It's May 2023 and used cars are selling better than they have since last spring. Is it time to think about selling your car? We'll get into that with our predictions for the best and worst cars to sell in May. Plus, we'll talk about why we're having trouble moving clown cars, how used Teslas are barely worth the material they're printed on, and Jeeps, because they're flying off the shelves. Well, we don't have shelves, but you know. First, let's talk a little bit about the market, and then we'll get into our best and worst cars to sell this month. If you're impatient like me, you can use the links in the comments to skip ahead, and as always, please like and subscribe. Used car sales soared through April. Used car sales volume jumped by about 300,000 cars. That means they sold, 300,000 more cars this month than last month. Following the 2022 bubble, used car prices had fallen to nearly pre-pandemic levels, and sales were down too. As the spring travel season continues, we should see used car prices stay steady, and hopefully the number of sales will continue to rise, which could ultimately influence price a little bit as well. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Since used car sales have been so high, we've seen big drops in used car supply. At the same time, we've seen sustained record and really high new car prices. So that has given used car prices just a really sort of steady balance, right? So we're not seeing that drop like we were in previous months. Here's what Cox Automotive senior economist Charlie Chesbrough had to say. Prices have been falling, but the tight supply might be providing some price support. Used prices may fall further, but it seems unlikely a mass decline will happen given the supply situation. So, we're seeing some predicted stability in used car prices, which is good if you've been waiting to see if your car can sell for more, or just waiting to see what the market will do. Good news, prices are holding. All right, this is what you've been waiting for, the best cars to sell in May, or at least our predictions. This is not a guarantee. We cannot guarantee the future, but we can tell you, we looked at the CarMigo marketplace, we looked at market trends, and these are the cars that we think are gonna sell the best in May, based on, how they sold last month and market, conditions. All right, so here's your green light cars. If you've got one of these cars, you have the green light to sell this month. We think you're gonna get more offers, and we think you're gonna get better offers for these cars. Toyota Camry, Chevy Silverado, Hyundai Santa Fe, Jeep Wrangler, and the Hyundai Kona. A couple notes on those real quick. The Chevy Silverado is selling great. Also, half-ton trucks in general are selling great. So the Chevy Silverado is just the best seller of that category. Same thing for the Jeep Wrangler. All Jeeps are selling really well right now. Just the Jeep Wrangler is the best in that category. All right, here's your red light cars. If you've got one of these cars, maybe wait a month to see what the market does, or just expect fewer offers and lower offers. First up, Ford Maverick. Then we got tiny cars like the Kia Soul and the Fiat 500, minivans, Ford Fusion, and Teslas. Here's a little bit more about our green light cars for the month. First up, your Toyota Camry. For the last 3 months, we've sold more than 75% of the Camrys listed on the CarMigo marketplace, and that's a car that gets listed a lot. So for people who are trying to sell Camrys on the marketplace, almost always they get what they're looking for, sell their car. That's good news. Month over month, we list more Camrys and sell more Camrys than almost any other car. It's a safe bet. If you have a Toyota Camry and you're thinking about selling it, it's a great month to do it, especially in the CarMigo marketplace. Number 2, Chevy Silverado. Great month to sell a Silverado, great month to sell a half-ton truck. We're seeing F-150s, Sierras, Silverados. I'm missing a bunch of half-ton trucks here. But smaller trucks, bigger trucks, not quite as well. Half-ton truck is a sweet spot. And it's for 2 months now in a row, we've sold well over half of our half-ton trucks listed on the CarMigo platform. Next up, Hyundai Santa Fe. This is a perennial best car to sell. We sold more than 80% of the Hyundai Santa Fe's listed last month. And it was the second most listed car in the month of March. Not only are we selling a large percentage of them, but we are listing way more of these than almost any other car in our marketplace. People who are selling Hyundai Santa Fe's on the CarMigo marketplace typically get what they're looking for, and they get what they're looking for fast. Up next, Jeep Wranglers. We saw Jeeps, they were a red light car last month, so big turnaround for Jeep Wranglers. Woo! Jeep Wranglers sold great this month. And not just Jeep Wranglers, Jeeps. All Jeeps, except for the Patriot. We didn't sell a Patriot this month. Otherwise, we sold every Jeep that is currently in production, and I think a couple that aren't. So they sold great. A lot of them we sold 100% of. Jeep Wranglers we sold a very high percentage of, the ones we listed. If you've got a Jeep or a Jeep Wrangler, the spring, spring travel, nice weather, people are thinking about recreation. The dealers and buyers are looking to stock more of those sort of spring, summer cars. And finally, we've got the Hyundai Kona. This is the first time the Hyundai Kona has been a green light car for us. Welcome to the list, Hyundai Kona. We'll pause for applause. So when Hyundai makes an SUV, at least lately, they don't miss. The Kona checks all of Hyundai's safety, comfort, and reliability boxes. It basically brings you all of that sweet Hyundai SUV in a smaller package. It's a subcompact or compact SUV. Konas averaged just under 20 offers each on the CarMigo marketplace in April, and we sold 3/4 of the Konas that were listed. So Konas are selling great right now. Red light cars. Here's a little more on why we don't think some of these cars are going to sell as well this month. Nothing personal. We like some of these cars a lot. It is just market trends. So you can get a new Maverick for less than what a lot of people want to sell you a used Maverick for on the market right now, which is just frustrating Maverick owners who want to sell their truck. Up next, we've got tiny cars. Talking about your clown cars. Not really, they're cute. But I just think about, whenever you see like more than one person get out of a Kia Soul or a Fiat 500, you kind of get that vibe. I don't know why they're not selling well. Other small cars are selling pretty well, but these really small ones are not. If you're thinking about selling your tiny car, maybe wait and see if gas prices go back up as travel starts to happen in the spring and summer, and then maybe we'll see some more movement around tiny cars. I would wait. Minivans so great. I don't really know what happened last month. Our Chrysler Pacificas and our Grand Caravans just didn't do that well. I would normally say it's an anomaly, but it happened across makes and models. I just have to think that people who are selling minivans right now think they're worth more or need more out of the sale than what buyers are willing to pay, because they got offers, not a ton, but they all got offers. They just didn't sell. Ford Fusions sold terribly. They barely even attracted offers last month. That doesn't seem to be a trend with other mid-size sedans. So I think it might just be a sign to hold off on trying to sell your Fusion right now if you're trying to, or expect a little bit less than you would get if you're selling another mid-size sedan. And then finally, this has been a red light car for a while. It was a green light car all the way through 2022 just about, and then immediately red light car 2023. And that is because Tesla slashed prices on their new vehicles. So now a new Tesla is less than a used Tesla, kind of like with the Mavericks, but times 10. So they're just almost impossible to sell for like what you need to pay it off, just because people can get a new one so much cheaper and apply a larger portion of the EV tax credit towards a new one than they would be able to a used. That's where we're at with red light cars. If you've got one of these cars, maybe wait a little bit, especially if, specifically mentioned waiting like with the tiny cars. Otherwise, just expect lower offers, fewer offers going forward. All right, let's take a little bit deeper of a dive into some of these market conditions we've been talking about. So used car sales volume went up. So used car sale volume has gone up in this last month and the last couple of months we've talked about. So it was down below the 3 million sales mark, but so far it is continuing to climb in 2023. So each month of 2023 it's continued to climb. Now, currently used car sales volume is still less than what it was in March 2022, but it's really close and signs are good for the rest of the spring and maybe even the summer. Some of this sales growth is seasonal, but some of it can also be attributed to prolonged high new car prices, which is something we're seeing in the new car market. They've only just now begun to introduce incentive pricing for the first time in about a year. And so to get some of those record high new car prices back down. But right now, just used cars are a better option for a lot of people who need a car because new cars are astronomical. The average used car listing price is up a little bit to $26,213, which is lower than it was a year ago, about 4% lower. It's also probably higher than what people are actually getting for their cars. So people are probably getting a little bit less than that in reality. That said, prices are holding steady after months and months of falling. So that's a good sign for the used car market. So I think these prices are going to stay stable through the spring. So there's two balancing factors that should keep used car prices stable. The first one is that as the average used car listing price goes down a little bit more, we should see increased buyer activity. The second factor here for balancing out used car prices is that when those used cars get bought up, we're going to see the number of available used cars continue to drop. And right now, used car inventory is pretty low. Here's another quote from Cox Automotive senior economist Charles Chesbrough. It says the supply of used vehicles at dealerships is at its lowest point in our data, which goes back to 2019. Finding the right product at the right price point is more challenging for buyers today. So as inventory continues to go down and buyers continue to struggle to find the right car at the right price, they're going to be willing to pay a little bit more, and used car prices may actually stabilize or go up, especially as long as new car prices stay so much higher than used car prices. And then we're going to look at segments here. Pickup trucks for the second consecutive month were the only segment or body type to gain value compared with last year, right? And I mean, it is 0.1%, but Hey, that's cool. The two segments with the largest drop in price since last year are luxury cars and minivans. For minivans, this is a first in a while since the family vehicles did really well in 2022. For luxury vehicles, this has been an ongoing trend. They're just not holding value in the used car market. I will say that the minivan thing may just be because they sold so well in 2023. That was a little bit of a blip. And so now we're just comparing, maybe a normal year to a really good year last year. Those slight dips in used car prices are not enough to boost sales, which dipped just below 1.3 million new cars sold in April. We are seeing new car sales kind of decline, and we're seeing new car inventory back up to close to pre-pandemic levels. That means those long waiting lists for new cars are over, and manufacturers are having to reintroduce some incentive pricing. But right now, before all that pricing and discounts has taken place, is a sweet spot if you're trying to sell a used car. Because new cars are still super high, and used cars have a stabilized price, so we should be in pretty good shape. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, or head over to the Carmigo YouTube channel for more used car content. And as always, if you've got a car to sell, head over to carmigo.io and we'll help you sell it.